Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video I'm gonna be decluttering my single eyeshadow collection. I'm gonna be showing you my single eyeshadow collection and going through and seeing what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. So let's get right into the video. If you haven't been on my channel before, my name is Marley and I love doing makeup and beauty videos here on YouTube. I love doing swatches, looks, reviews, will I buy it videos, all that kind of stuff, also declutters. So if that sounds good to you, if you like to see more of this, then please subscribe. I usually upload like 2 or 3 times a week and I would love to see you again on my channel. So my single eyeshadow collection isn't like the biggest. It isn't huge. I'm trying to kind of grow my single eyeshadow collection. I'm trying to get some more single eyeshadows so I can make up more of my own color stories. Right now I don't really have that option. I have some nice shadows, but I don't really have the amount of single eyeshadows that I can just recreate color stories or things like that. That would be my goal in the end. So my plan is to buy a lot more single eyeshadows in the future, buy some different types of shades. I feel like a lot of the shades are kind of in the same color family right now. So I really want to get some more options, but for now I just want to go through what I have right now and see what I can get rid of, because there are a lot of things in my collection, in my single eyeshadow collection, that I don't really need. I'm not really gonna organize anything in this video because I'm still waiting for some empty magnetic palettes to put some of these eyeshadows in. So I'm just gonna declutter and I'm gonna wait with the organization, and I'm gonna do that in a future video. So I have all my magnetic palettes here in front of me, but I actually don't want to start with this. I actually want to start with my single pot eyeshadow, so I'm just gonna grab all those. So I actually want to start with my Colourpop Super Shock eyeshadows. I have quite a lot of these, and there was a time that I was ordering quite a lot of these and I was really into this formula, but I have to say a lot of these I don't really use. And some of these I haven't really even swatched, I think. For example, this one. When I ordered this one, I thought it was gonna be much lighter, and then I got it and I was kind of like, oh, is this the color? So then I didn't really touch it. So I kind of want to swatch all my Colourpop Super Shocks and then see what I want to keep. I think I want to keep a few that I really like, but not all of these are really like my thing. So this first one is called Prickly Pear. I actually know that I quite like this one. It's kind of like a rosy brown with some shimmer in there. This one isn't like dried out, but I don't know if it's still as creamy as it once was. I also feel like when I heard that the Super Shocks dried out pretty fast, I was a bit turned off. I was a bit like, I don't want to fall in love with these eyeshadows if they're just gonna go bad really fast. So I feel like I've kind of neglected them over the past few years or the past year. This one is a lot more creamy than Prickly Pear. This one is called Copilot. This is more like a smooth metallic, kind of a light iridescent pinky shade. I don't know if you can really see it, it's quite close to my skin tone. Could be a nice highlighter actually, like an inner corner highlight. Could work like that. Then I have this shade called Liberty. I don't know if I've ever used this one. It's like a really creamy metallic silver. It looks more metallic on my finger than it does in the swatch. I don't know why it's not really applying. It's not really coming off my finger. This is kind of weird. So I kind of tried to swatch that. It isn't the best swatch. It doesn't apply the best. I don't know how I feel about that one. Like on my finger it looks nice, but here it doesn't really like grab onto the skin. This one is called Sugar, and I think this is a silvery one that has something of a green undertone. A little bit like a sea foamy color, like slight sea foamy. That's quite nice. This has quite a bit of shimmer in there. It's kind of like a gold shimmer. It's like a really icy green with gold shimmer. That's actually quite a nice color, I have to say. Then we have this shade called I Heart This. This is actually one of my favorites. I actually wore it quite a few times. It's quite a nice color. It's like a taupey shade that has a bit of shimmer in there. It's quite nice as like a topper. I hope you can kind of see that. This is quite a pretty shade, I have to say. You can see it on my finger there. I quite like this one, and it still feels quite creamy. Now let's get into the shade that I've never swatched. This one is called Socialize, and this is from like a butterfly collection. When I saw this on the website, I thought it looked so cute, but then when I got it, I never touched it because I just found it looked so lackluster in the packaging. So this is the moment of truth. Should I have neglected this one or maybe not? I feel like it's more lilac and glittery in the swatch than it looks in the packaging. Yeah, I feel like that looks better in the swatch. Maybe it's not that bad, but it's hard to say if I've never used it on the eye. And then this one is called Ripple. This is a shade that I bought because my sister bought it and I thought it looked so nice. But when I got it, I kind of realized that this isn't like my type of purple. Like when I do a purple look, I usually don't use a really dark purple metallic. I usually put the darker purples in the crease and then the lighter purples on the lid. So it felt like this didn't really have a place in my looks. But this is a purple with a blue shimmer. It does look really pretty in the swatch. That looks really good. I hope you can kind of see that. That's a really pretty swatch. I definitely like the glittery Ultra Glitter Super Shocks the most. I think those are the best formula. So this one is called Frog. This is kind of like an iridescent shimmery one. It still feels quite creamy actually. This kind of has like a taupey base and then multicolored shimmer. I will just swatch it here. This is a really nice topper shade actually. That's really nice. I think that's one of my favorites definitely from the range. Because it just has this kind of sheer taupey base and then it has so much shimmer in there. That's how I personally like to use the Super Shocks. I like to use them as like a topper shade. This one is also an ultra glitter and this is in the shade Special Delivery. The reason why I never use this one is because it's green and before like 6 months ago I didn't really know what kind of greens I liked and what way I liked to wear green. So I never wore greens actually for a long time. But I think this would actually be a nice shade for me, but this one is kind of like broken. I tried to fix this a couple of times but it didn't really work the best. So this is like a shimmery green with a yellow gold shimmer. This is kind of like an awkward position to show you, but I hope you can kind of see that there. So those were all my Super Shocks. Now that I see it swatched out, I'm kind of like, should I give them another shot? Should I maybe try these out on the lid and see if they are something for me? I think I'm gonna be decluttering this one for sure. The Liberty one, I don't feel like it really grabbed onto the skin. And I don't feel like this is a shade I'm really gonna use a lot. I don't really use silver eyeshadow. And I feel like I have better silvery eyeshadows. Or at least I could get better ones. This is not like blowing me away, so I'm gonna declutter this one. I think I'm also gonna declutter the Special Delivery one. This one is just not special enough in my collection right now and it's broken and I don't feel like dealing with that, so that's why I'm gonna declutter it. It's quite a nice shade though, but I just feel like I have other options when it comes to this type of green that I would rather reach for. Now these ones, I'm kind of on the fence because before I started this declutter, I actually thought I was gonna declutter these two purple ones. But now that I've swatched them, I actually really think they look pretty. And this one, I don't really feel like it's that special. It's just a metallic, a light pink metallic. And I don't know if I really like need that in my life. I think this one is going in the maybe pile because I might want to try it as a highlight as well. I might just want to see how I could use this. Then these ones I'm gonna keep for now, but I feel like I definitely have to use them more to justify keeping them. So if I'm gonna do like a declutter or an organization in a few months and I haven't touched any of these, then I'm probably gonna declutter them, or at least a few of them. But I'm thinking maybe I should put one of these in my project pen, maybe this one, and use it kind of like a topper to finish up looks. it would be quite an easy way to use it. So gonna be keeping these ones, but I'm not like 100% sure because some of these I haven't used on my eyes and some of these I haven't used in a while. But all of these are still quite creamy, so I'm gonna keep them for now. So these are all my other single eyeshadows in pots that aren't from Colourpop. These are all from like L'Oreal and Catrice and some Essence. So let's just go through these. A lot of these I'm not really sure about. Like some of these I kind of moved out of my collection, didn't really see as being part of my collection anymore. But I never really like threw them out, like really got rid of them. But when I decluttered those, I also wasn't really into single eyeshadows, and I still can't say that I'm the biggest fan of this type of eyeshadow that has like its own packaging, its own container, and you can't really put it in a palette. It's just this one product. But I feel like right now I would use it more. So let's just go through. This one, this Essence one, I talked about in a review roundup about Essence and Catrice. And I said I didn't like this one. It didn't have any pigmentation. And on the eye it was just kind of like a pearly mess with a slight green sheen. Like it has no pigment, almost no pigment, and that's not what I'm looking for. If I want a mint, I want it to be at least pigmented, even if it's like a satiny shade. Of course it says pearl, and maybe I could have known that it wouldn't be my favorite, but I saw the color and I was like, I like other eyeshadows in this range, so maybe I will like this one. Maybe this will be something for me, but I don't like this formula. The color looks really cute in the packaging, but it doesn't work out on my eyes. Maybe if you are into having a really sheer pearly wash of color on your eyes, you might like this, but this is not for me. This one is one I'm gonna declutter. This one got hard pan like quite fast, and you can still pick a product, but I don't feel like this adds enough to my collection. I feel like I have other eyeshadows in this color that have more pigmentation. Like, alright, it looks quite nice when you swatch it like this, but I feel it feels so like tuggy, and it doesn't feel like smooth and easily, and like something you can easily apply. When you apply this to the eyes, it's like it sticks to one spot, but then you can't really like work it on your lid, if you know what I mean. So this is not my favorite. Usually I do like the Catrice single eyeshadows, but this didn't really work out for me, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. I think I just paid like €1 for this, so it was fine to just try it out. Then this Catrice Matte Velvet Eyeshadow. This is like a taupey shade. This is like a crease shade. It's a little bit like creamy and quite light. I feel like it kind of has like a slight pinky undertone, slight rosy undertone. I remember using this on my eye and not really liking it. It looks kind of dry. It didn't look the most flattering, and I felt like I always had to kind of cover it up with other shades to make it look good. And it's not such a special shade, so I think I'm gonna be getting rid of this one. Then this Essence The Velvets. This is kind of like a mauvey tone, kind of like a cool toned brownie shade. That is quite a nice color. It is quite pigmented. I don't really know if I want to keep this one. I don't really know. I might keep this in a maybe pile for now, because I don't really know right now if this is what I would use, if I would actually use this one. Then I have this Catrice Matte Velvet Eyeshadow. This is quite an older one in my collection, but this is such a creamy matte shadow and so pigmented. And this is a color that I feel like I don't really have anywhere else in my collection, so I'm gonna be keeping it. Sadly, this isn't available anymore. This is quite an older eyeshadow in my collection, but it's quite a nice one. And I feel like I might be reaching for this one for very specific looks. Sometimes when I do like a little bit of a toned down minty look, I will grab for this one. Then this Essence eyeshadow I talked about in my favorite cool tone neutral eyeshadows video. This is such a nice one. This is such a nice pigmented eyeshadow, such a nice creamy formula, and it looks very flattering and shiny on the eyes. So I'm definitely gonna be keeping this one. And then this L'Oreal one, this is an older one and I kind of already felt like I was gonna declutter it. It's like a bit of a satiny purpley shade, and looking at this I feel like I already have this in other formulas and in magnetic pens that aren't like in a pot like this, so I don't feel like I need to be keeping this one. Then I have this Catrice Matte Velvet eyeshadow in the shade Welcome to Greyland. Not that it really matters because you can't get this one. This is like the other one, really creamy and more of a grey tone. I'm gonna be keeping this one because it's just such a good quality grey and it's so nice to have in my collection, to have this option in my collection. Then I have this NYX Single Eye Shadow in the shade Savage or Sauvage. And this is like a grassy, or what would you call this? Like a forest green, but it has some blue in it as well. Maybe like a really dark teal. Maybe it's more like a shiny teal, yes. That is quite a pigmented shade. I feel like it's a bit on the satiny side, but that's also to be expected because it's a bit of a darker shade. I don't know if I would end up using this one. I feel like if I would use a color like this, it would be a color in one of my eyeshadow palettes. And maybe it would be something a little bit lighter or a little bit more shiny, but the quality of these NYX single eyeshadows is quite good. It's definitely not a bad eyeshadow. Then this one by NYX is called Whimsical. This is like your light lilac shade. It doesn't really have like a duochrome or anything like that. This is quite a nice shiny lilac, but I don't really know if I would use it. I don't know if I would really need this in my collection because I have a lot of palettes that have lilac in them and that have more special lilac shades with more of like a duochrome or like more shimmer to them. So I don't feel like I really need this one in my life. Then I have this kind of iridescent mint green one that is called Glass Slipper by NYX as well. Let me swatch it over here. I have to clean my arm after this. This is actually a really nice shade. It's kind of like a duochrome. It's kind of like more bluey to more green. I actually didn't know that. That's quite nice. I think I'm gonna be keeping this one because it's quite a special shade in my collection, I feel like. So I also have this NYX single eyeshadow in the shade Frostbite. This is kind of like a light blue iridescent shade. It kind of has some purple in there as well. It's like an icy purple to an icy blue almost. That's also quite an interesting shade. I might keep it around for a little bit and just see how I feel about it. Just see if I reach for it, if I will use it in my inner corner. If I don't, then it's gone at the next declutter. And then I have this single eyeshadow in the shade Dark Swan. This is kind of like a dark cool toned purple. I don't feel like I'm ever gonna reach for this one. It's kind of like a satiny shade. It's not like a special metallic, and I wouldn't really use a dark purple like this on the lid. So I would rather have this as a matte eyeshadow. So I don't think I'm gonna reach for this one. I'm gonna declutter it. Then I have these 4 single eyeshadows by Catrice. This is a highlighting eyeshadow in the shade Highlight to Hell. And this is like a light whitish iridescent highlight. I feel like I bought this at some point because of Nikki Tutorials, but I'm not really sure. But I feel like she used this at some point, but I'm not really gonna use this as a face highlight. It's too light for that for me. I don't really like a white highlight on my face anymore. But I also don't feel like I'm gonna reach for this one as an inner corner highlight. This isn't really what I'm into right now, so I think I'm gonna declutter it. But the formula of these Catrice highlighting eyeshadows is really nice. So if this is your shade, then I would definitely recommend it. Then I also have this Catrice highlighting eyeshadow in the shade Diamond Dust. This one is too dark for me to use on the face, but I thought it would be like a nice eyeshadow for the lid. But in the end, I don't feel like it's textured enough to really add something to my collection. It's just like applying a darker highlight to my eye. When I bought it, when I saw it in a pan, I was like, oh, that looks quite like dimensional and textured, and it could be a nice eyeshadow. And of course, it isn't too expensive. It's like €2.90. So it's a nice shade, it's a nice highlighter, it's a nice formula for highlighters, but I don't think I really need this one. I think it's gonna be too dark as a face highlight for me. I'm kind of shocked actually that I'm decluttering this one. I haven't had it for that long and I've been really positive about this one, but it's just not perfect for me. Or should I maybe try it as a face highlight like in the summer? I'm gonna put this in a maybe pile. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe there would be a way I could use this like in the summer. I don't know if this would work on my skin tone. I've never tried it. But then again, do I really need another highlighter? I'm gonna put it in a maybe pile. Then I have this matte eyeshadow called Deep Pool by Catrice. This is a really nice one. I'm definitely gonna be keeping. It's like a smoky blue matte eyeshadow that works really well. It's really like soft and pigmented. And this is not a shade that I have like over and over in my collection. And this one I'm also keeping. This one is called Say You'll Be Wine. This is a really nice wine shade that is really pigmented and also very smooth. These two, if you are gonna pick up anything from the Catrice line, if you're gonna be picking anything up from their line of single eyeshadows, I would definitely recommend checking these out. These are really beautiful shades. These work really well. Then we have these L'Oreal eyeshadows. These used to be all the rage. At least I felt like a lot of people really appreciated these back in the day. These are really like those pressed pigments and they are really creamy and soft. And they still work very well. This one is the shade called Flashback Silver. This is kind of like a combination of lilac and silver, and there's also some pink in there. It is a really nice shade, but I don't think I'm really gonna be using it. But it is a really nice formula, I have to say. Like for the drugstore that this was around, such nice pigmentation, such a nice formula. I was quite impressed with these back in the day. I don't know if they still have them actually. Do they still exist? Then there's also this shade called Metallic Lilac. This is kind of like the darker version of the other one. Same nice creamy formula, same nice slightly shimmery finish. I also don't feel like I have to keep this one. These are also so old and I feel like I have other single eyeshadows that are newer and better. Or at least that I would rather reach for, because this is kind of a hassle, like taking off the lid and I don't know. Then I have this one called Naughty Strawberry. And this is a pinky one. I don't know if I've ever used this one. This one is kind of like a cool toned pinky shade. And looking at this one, I feel like I have this in the Strawberry Dream palette that I recently got. So I also don't really need to keep this one. So here are all the pot eyeshadows that I kept. Let me just count real quickly how much I still have here. 13. And then I have 3 that I'm not really sure about. But I think I'm gonna decide on that at the very end. So 13 I have here and I decluttered all of these. So let me count this real quickly. Also 13, so that's 50% gone. That's pretty good, right? I'm pretty happy about that. Let's get into the single eyeshadows that are magnetic and that are in my magnetic palettes. So first up I have this little NYX palette. I bought this a little while ago. And I don't know if this option is still available at NYX. I don't really feel like it. One of these shades is actually in another magnetic palette. This was my first encounter with single eyeshadows. I have to say it was a little bit on the expensive side. I felt like it was a little bit expensive at the time. And some of these NYX single eyeshadows I really like and some of these aren't like the best. For example, this one is called Coquette. This one is in my Project Pan. This one is a really nice transition shade for cool tone looks. It's kind of like a taupe with a little bit of a purple undertone. Really like that one. It isn't like crazy pigmented, but that's what I like about it. This one I don't know the name of and they don't have the name on the back. This is kind of like a light, really pastel purple. I'm gonna be keeping this one to blend out purples, but on its own it's not really like a shade you're gonna use on its own. This one, I don't know what this one is called, but I don't really think I'm gonna be keeping this one because this one is really dry. I just feel like it feels so dry and it looks a bit dry and it's not really like a special or interesting shade. So I think I'm gonna be decluttering that one. So now I only have 2 shades in this little palette. It looks a little bit sad, but I have 2 other NYX singles that I could put back in here. So I have these 2 empty magnetic palettes by H&M. First of all, I don't really like these palettes. It's really hard to move around eyeshadows once they are in this palette. If you want to get it out, this magnet is so strong that your eyeshadow or whatever you have in here will just like fly across the room. It's so hard to get out of it. So I'm just gonna like keep this in here for now. I'm not really gonna move it around. This one is called Gifts Galore by Give Me Glow, and this one is called I'm Too Royal. Both really pretty creamy shades, like really creamy and really nice. Not gonna be decluttering those ones, of course. I don't think I'm gonna be decluttering a lot of my magnetic single eyeshadows because most of them I really like. So these are 3 Give Me Glow eyeshadows as well. A nice red one, a nice purpley gray one, and a nice kind of cool toned olivey one. This one is more olive than I expected when I bought it. This one is called Pistol. I don't want to get them out of here because I don't want to ruin them, but I'm gonna put the names on the screen, alright? So this one is called Pistol, that I'm sure about, but these 2 I'm gonna put on the screen later on. Because I don't want to try and get them out now and like poke them, because I dropped this one and poked this one already because it was in this palette. But these are really pretty shades, not going to be decluttering any of these. So these ones are actually H&M Single Eye Shadows. I don't know the names right now because they aren't on the back. So it's really hard after you get them and you take them out of the packaging to really know what you're dealing with. But this one is called Drama Queen, and this is like a really fine pressed glitter. This one is really pretty. If you wanna like dabble into pressed glitter, try something out, you might want to check out this one. This is actually a really pretty pressed glitter, and it's a really nice formula that looks really opaque and it sticks really well and just feels really creamy. I would compare this to the new Juvia's Place a glitter formula in their Valhalla 2 palette. Would definitely recommend this one. Then this one, I don't know the name of, but this is a really nice, smooth, like champagne shade. I like this for like inner corner highlight, and this is also a nice kind of rosy brown. I will see if I can find the names and I will put them on the screen. That is something that I have to like look up in my account, see what I ordered and see if I can see what color is which, because they also look a bit different on the website than they look in real life. I also had another shade in this formula that was really like dry and kind of like chalky and had really sparse glitter in them. That one I already decluttered like right away because it was so bad, but these are really nice. So H&M is a little bit hit or miss, I would say. It's a bit hard to really order the right thing because they don't really show them on the website well. But once you get a nice shade, they are very nice. So I would recommend, if it's possible, to swatch them in store. Then I have these 2 single eyeshadows by Give Me Glow. These are Peri and Wink. Those are really pretty periwinkle shades. Really like these. I'm definitely gonna be keeping these. In this palette there's another H&M single. This is another glitter. This is like a rainbow multicolor iridescent shimmer that has like blue, yellow, green in there. It's so pretty. Can you see that? Wait. So this one over there, this one is such a pretty glitter, like stunning. I want to do like a blue look and use this glitter like to top it off. That one's really nice. I will also try to remember to put the name of this one on the screen. Then I have these 2 Clionadh glitter multichromes. This one is called Enamel. This one is called Tracery. These are really pretty shades, and I have a video up on my channel swatching these, but let me just swatch them real quickly. Really glittery and shifty. In my first impression, I wasn't too like happy about these. I was kind of like on the fence. I didn't know if I loved them, but I feel like I've kind of found a way to make them work for me. Because when I first got these, I felt like I had to put them all over the lid to make them really show off the shift, and that's what I heard in other videos. That's what I thought I had to do, but then I didn't really like that, and now I put it like in the inner third of the lid. After I finish a look, I put these as like an extra glittery shifty shade in the inner third, and I really enjoyed that. So in the end, I have found a way to make these work for me and the way that I really like these. So these are all Nabla Single Eye Shadows. I'm not going to be swatching them all right now. I have a video up on my channel swatching all my Nabla singles. So if you want to know like more in-depth swatches and you want to know more in-depth what these colors are, you can find it there. I'm not going to be decluttering any of them. Then I have this little palette that I curated myself. I have some Nabla singles, this one, and this one. This is Glazed by Clionadh. This is also a really beautiful shifty shade. This is kind of like a pink to a lilac to a gold. This is Give Me Glow. And once again, I'm gonna try to remember to put the name on the screen, but this is a really nice kind of pinky purple shade, a little bit toned down. This is another NYX color that doesn't have a name, and this is another NYX color that also doesn't have a name. Like, brands should really put the names of the eyeshadows on the back. Especially if they are singles, like you're gonna forget. So this shade over here is kind of like a plummy brown, and I tried it because I put it in this palette, but I didn't really love it. Now that I swatch it, it looks quite good, but when I applied it, I didn't think it was too pigmented and too opaque. What to do about you? I might try to use this in a look once again and use a bit of a different brush. And if that doesn't work, I'm definitely gonna declutter it. So it's kind of like with one leg out of my collection, and I'm just gonna see after one more use what I'm gonna do with it. But I didn't love it the last time I used it. The rest of these I'm gonna keep. These Nabla singles are just really good. I really love Give Me Glow, and I really like the effect the Clionadh eyeshadows give me when I kind of like top of my look with them. So I'm just gonna keep this palette complete for now. The last little palette in my single eyeshadow collection, this is a palette by Nabla, and I actually really like the quality of this palette and how sturdy it is in here without it being like impossible to get any of the eyeshadows out without ruining them. So these are all Nabla singles. If you want to know more about these singles, I have a video up on my channel. I will link it down below. I didn't really love this one. This one felt really dry, like it doesn't really pick up. Look at that. There's like no pigment. It's really dry, and when you swatch it, it's alright, but it isn't like blowing me away. Like when you compare it to this one feels really creamy in the pan, and then you swatch it and it's way more smooth and more opaque. But I feel like I want to keep this shade for now because it's newer in my collection, and I might want to try it one time over a glitter glue. I just feel like for now I want to keep my Nabla singles together, like for reference also. This one, by the way, is called the Red. I didn't love this one. Or is it called the Nay? Wait, I will check it. This one is called the Nay. The one I don't like is called the Nay. This one is called the Red. This is quite a nice one. So don't love this one, but I'm gonna keep it for now. This table is such a mess, and I'm such a mess. Like, this is all covered in eyeshadow. Now let me get back to these three eyeshadows. This one, I don't feel like I need it. It's gonna be too dark, and I'm gonna have something in my collection that is better suited to my skin tone. I have quite a few really nice highlighters, so I'm gonna be getting rid of this one. But maybe, just maybe, I'm gonna keep it next to some of my highlighters after this declutter, and I might change my mind, but I feel like I don't need it. I'm just gonna declutter it, okay? It's gonna be in the declutter pile. Then this one, I just want to swatch it next to one of my Nabla singles. This shade is called Capsize. My voice doesn't want to work with me anymore. This is a shade called Capsize. Really nice and smooth. And this is the Essence one. I feel like it's similar enough. I feel like I don't need both, and I'm not gonna use both. So I'm gonna declutter this one. And then we have this one left called Copilot. This is just like your average pearly pink shade, and I don't feel like I'm gonna use it. This is just not something that I'm into right now. With this one, I could also think like maybe I could use it as a highlighter, but I don't think that's really gonna be like my thing. I don't think I'm really gonna do that. So I think think I'm gonna get rid of this one. This is the type of product that you're like, I can use it like this, I can use it like that, but in the end you never reach for it, and I already know that I'm not gonna be reaching for this one. So I decluttered 16 of my pot eyeshadows and one of my single eyeshadows that are magnetic. So we can see what I normally like. Definitely I'm more into my magnetic eyeshadows. So this is everything I'm decluttering, 17 eyeshadows. I feel like it was quite a successful declutter. I kind of decluttered what I was expecting. I wasn't really expecting to get rid of a lot of my single eyeshadows that are magnetic, because most of them I recently got and most of them I actually really like. And most of these are just a little bit older and I already felt like I was gonna move them out of my collection. So on the screen I will just put the total of what I still have in my collection, so everything that I didn't declutter. I think in the end the percentage is not gonna be like too high, but that's fine because this is what I wanted, this is what I wanted to get rid of, and it's like my goal to have more of them, so that's why I'm not gonna be like cutthroat decluttering everything, like 50% gone, things like that. This is just what I wanted and I'm really happy with it. So that was everything for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like the video if you liked it and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye! Bye!